What's going on, guys? This is Pax from Trend Traders, and today we're going to be walking over how to use one of my favorite indicators, the VRVP Visible Range Volume Profile. So let's go to tradingview.com and make an account. So once you have an account, let's go up here and search any ticker. For all these learning indicators, we're going to use Bitcoin just because I think that crypto is probably one of the easiest things to learn technical analysis on. It's how I learned, and I think it works the best in terms of learning in live time how we're going to chart this out. So once you have a chart up, we're going to go to indicators and type in VRVP. Now this specific visible range volume profile comes with TradingView Essential, which is about $14 a month. But if you just type in volume profile or visible range, all of these indicators come up and nearly all of them are identical to what we are talking about today. I'm just talking about the specific one that I use. It comes with TradingView Pro, TradingView Essential. So we're going to be talking about this one, but if you don't want to pay for TradingView Essential, just search volume profile and use literally any of these and you can use them just about the same way. Once you click on the visible range volume profile or any of the free ones that you chose, these big bars will come up on the side of your screen. The blues are buyers, the yellows are sellers, but I wouldn't look at them like that. I would just look at it like a spot of buyers or sellers. I don't really care if it's all blue. I don't really care if it's all yellow. Every share that's bought has somebody that sold it. Every share that's sold has somebody that bought it. So don't really worry about the color of these, more so worry about how big these bars are or how lack of bars there are in an area. So what we do with these spots of volume is we draw out lines at the start of these biggest candles. So you can see right here where this huge candle starts at 91.49, another one where this candle starts at 98.40. You can draw one where these candles end and they start dropping off at 85, and so on and so forth. Just like anything with technical analysis and charting, the further you go out, like on the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, the more accurate these lines are. You can go into these 5 minute, these 3 minute charts and draw lines based off these lines as well, off these volume bars as well. And they'll do about the same thing, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. For now, let's just stick with the 4 hour time frame and we'll get into how we use this on a bigger scale so it makes sense when we go into a smaller scale. So just drawing these lines on our chart, we know exactly where we have supports and where we have resistances. If you follow us at all on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, in the Discord, whatever, you know that our number one thing when trading stocks is trying to get the lowest price and sell for the highest price. It's not rocket science trying to buy for the lowest price in the world. But how do you find that lowest price in the world? Using the VRVP indicator, you're able to see exactly where buyers step in and where they drop off and where they step in again. So what you do here is, knowing that you have this line, you're able to tell yourself, as long as we hold above this line, we stay bullish on this trade. So if you're doing nothing but buying at this line, you bought for literally the lowest price on this bounce, and in just a couple hours, in just a day, this is up over $4,000. If you're constantly buying at support, it's hard to lose money in the stock market or any market. If you are constantly trying to get the absolute lowest price and buying in right where buyers step in, you are going to make money purely because there isn't money to lose. You can see here just last week when we finally broke out of these big buyers and up, we came back down and retest. These candles never really cross that bottom line of support. Why? Because of all these buyers going on at that same exact line that we already drew out. So you can tell yourself, if I buy in on this line, I'm bullish above this line. You may be risking $10, $20, $30 on the downside if it were to break, but you know as long as these candles are closing above this line that you're going to stay in this trade. So we're talking a lot about these big volume spots of buyers and sellers. Let's talk about this range right here where there isn't a whole lot of buyers and sellers. In this range right here, you can see that there's just no bars that kind of stick out, right? They don't really start picking up till 97. They kind of drop off around 94. Just nothing really going on in the middle of here. What we do in these ranges is we are following trends. So if the stock market is trending upward in this range, we're going to trade it to go upward in this range because there's no sellers to stop it. If it was trading downwards like it was on Monday, we would be trading it downwards because there's just no support to catch it. 99.9% of my trading is based off supports and resistances. When we deny resistances, we sell it to go down to support. When we hit support, we buy it to go up. to resistance. So now that we have a basic understanding of how to use these on a wider time scale, just using supports and resistances, let's go into the 3-minute chart and show how we kind of use this on a day-to-day time frame. So like we talked about, the further out you go, the more accurate these lines are going to be. You could draw these lines where these big buyers and sellers start right about here. You could draw them in again around here at 92.5. You could draw them where they drop off at 91.8. You could go to this top side and see where they're starting to drop off around 94.5, and so on and so forth. You could draw in another one here because there's a drop off around 93.6. So as you can see, these lines start adding up quickly. Just in a couple minutes, you're able to draw in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different spots of support, 5 different spots of resistances, and use these lines for your intraday trading. I personally am mostly a scalper. I try to get in and out of trades within a half hour, typically at most. Now, of course, there are swing trades we take, but on an intraday time frame, I'm trading things pretty quickly. I'm taking plays, I'm selling plays. I don't want to sit here 8 hours a day. I want to sit here, make a trade, and get out of it all within the same hour. The way we do that is the same way we do it on a bigger time frame. When these lines get hit, we buy them. When they hit their next spot, we sell them, right? So right now, just as we're making this video, you can say I'm a buyer of Bitcoin at 93,666 and I will hold above that line. Over the course of the next 5, 10, 15 minutes, we'll watch this trade play out and just see if we can use these lines to make a profit, right? Even just now, 20, 30 seconds later, we're already chopping up off this spot up about just $60, $70 from that line. So just using these lines, you're able to see exactly where you need to be a seller, exactly where you need to be a buyer, and exactly where you need to cut off if, say, the trade goes sideways. You can see right here, this bounced at our line perfectly, came up to this range that we talk about. There's just nothing really in the middle of it. And you end up having to sell this play, maybe for a loss if you didn't take profits on this first bounce. Now, I will say, when we talk about scalping trades, we talk about this being a good return. We talk about 3-minute long candles. So 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, these are 3 candles. 9 minutes later, this play already ran up $300. Now, one of my favorite things to add to this is the EMA indicator. This is the 20, 50, 100, 200. I don't use the 200, or I don't use the 100. But in the next video, we're going to talk about how you use this to spot trends and how you should know to be a buyer or a seller at these resistance and supports. And this indicator can be used on any of your favorite tickers, anything that you trade, crypto, Forex, stock market, it doesn't matter. You can go to any ticker, go in, and you'll see exactly where these big buyers are. You know we have support. See where these big buyers start to drop off. You know we have resistance. See where these buyers drop off. You know we have support. See where these big buyers kick in. You know we have a support or resistance. And you can do this literally for every stock, every crypto, everything that you are looking at. And it will work the exact same way, drawing out your supports, drawing out your resistances to know exactly where you need to be a buyer, where you need to be a seller, where you don't have anything. This makes trading as easy as it can possibly make it. When you're looking at 100 stocks a day, when you're looking at tons of different coins and tons of different plays, and people are asking you what you're looking at, and you're trying to find the best trades every morning and say you're short on time, being able to just go through on a nightly basis and put these lines in, it doesn't take long. You can see we're going through a handful of plays already, just drawing in lines, and now we know exactly where those supports and resistances are on all of these different trades. Right? And we're doing nothing but drawing where big buyers are, where big buyers stop, where big buyers start, and you can go around anywhere and do this. And now all of a sudden when you open up a chart, you go, okay, I know where my support is, I know where my resistance is. But being able to spot every support and every resistance just purely because you have this one indicator is a game changer for most people. We're already bouncing off this line quite well. And I would assume, since we have no buyers or sellers in this range, right, that we would follow through and continue to about 94. Now, I'm not going to stick around because I think that we kind of have the gist of this. I think that we've covered how to use this for the most part. Now, there's smaller things you can do on this. If you go to the settings, you can change some of these inputs. You can do more rows and have these a little thinner, right? I kind of like keeping it at 31. I've kind of feel that's been pretty good to me. You can also change the colors and everything, and see these where they say developing POC. You can actually draw these in, and it will draw in these lines of support and lines of resistance for you. Now, I don't love doing that. I like drawing them in myself, but if you are lazy, you can literally have this draw your supports and resistances in for you. They're not going to be perfect, just like most of the market, but at the end of the day, if you literally wanted it to do all the work for you, it will. Just using this, you're able to spot these supports, spot these resistances, and I think that's all what trading really is. Trying to buy for the lowest price, trying to sell for the highest price, and it's hard to lose when that is your game plan. But if you found this works for you, or if you have any questions, please hit us up in the Discord, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter. We'll be around. And we'll, like I talked about, we'll go into our EMA lines in part 2. We also will talk about RSI. We'll talk about how we use these all together to spot trends in the market and where we are buyers and sellers in that regard. So I appreciate you guys coming. If you have any questions, please let us know, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you again.